Hello guys, good day. Welcome back sa ating channel. And it's been a long time, it's been a long time since the last upload that we conducted and the last lecture that we conducted. I'm very sorry for that. No, pero mabawi tayo sa mga previous weeks, no? Hopefully more uploads to come, no? So today we are going to be discussing question document examination, just a continuation of the discussion that we had already on this channel with regards to question documents. No? So we are tasked today to discuss on the topic what is forgery. No, we have there the topics: what is forgery, what is document, and how forgery is committed. No, as discussed in our law, specifically on book 2. So, without further ado guys, kasi alam kong medyo marami akong utang sa inyo, no? Let's jump right into our discussion. So today we're going to talk about forgery, no? So forgery, we need to define what is forgery, no? We have there the definition already. That's not the legal definition, but that's the concept. No? Yan yung concept ng tinatawag nating forgery. By the way, what is forgery? No? So when we talk about forgery, it refers to the crime of false making or material alteration of a legal instrument with the specific intention of or to defraud anyone. So one of the things that we must remember, no, with regards to forgery, no, pag pinag-uusapan natin ng forgery is number one, how it is done, no? Paano ba siya ginagawa? Yes, it is through the so-called false making or making a material alteration. No? So what is material alteration, by the way? So it's somewhat like an alteration of the content, no, of a certain document that changes the substance or the context of the document. Pag limbawa may binago ka, no? Pag may binago ka doon sa document na kung saan is pwede nitong mabago yung pinaka-context ng document, that is considered as forgery. Now, for example, pwedeng may baguhin ka like for example the spelling, that is not considered as forgery kasi the thing that you must remember or the thing that we must consider is that was the changes made a material alteration of the entirety of the document. So if I change the spelling, for example, since I misspelled one word of the document, pinalitan ko kasi wrong spelling, did that change the context of the document? If not, then that's not a material alteration. But for example, I changed the date, no? I changed the date kasi hindi siya nagtatali. So for example, I have a contract, no? It's a contract. Then you change the date of the contract, no? The changing of the date is already considered as a material alteration. Why? Because date is very important in contracts, no? Napakahalaga ng date sa contracts, no? You change the condition inside the contract, so that's material alteration. So that will be considered now as a forgery. If you make something, no? If you make some changes into the content of the document which changes the context of the document, then that can be considered as forgery. That's number one, no? How it is done. So another thing that we must remember is that ano yung commonly fino-forge, no? So we have the legal instrument, no? Legal instruments are usually legal documents that has some legal value, no? For example, for evidentiary purpose, no? Or for contracts, no? Those are legal instruments, no? Now, if the material alteration was made into a legal instrument, no? Something that have evidentiary value ng mga documents, that is considered as forgery. And the last thing that we must understand with regards to forgery, baby, is is what is the reason, what is the motive of the changes, or what is the reason, what is the motive in changing the content of the document, no? So for forgery, no, it is for the purpose of defrauding anyone, no? Para manloko, no? Para lokohin yung isang tao or yung mga tao. So that's the reason, no, or that's the motive behind the commission of forgery. As I've stated, this is not the legal, but this is the concept of the so-called forgery, no? You change the content of the document, and the document is considered as a legal instrument, and the reason why you do that is to defraud, no, para manloko, then that will be considered as forgery, no, for this subject matter. Now, when we are dealing with forgery, no, the most common the most common forged writing or documents usually, or parts of the document usually involve signature, no? Ang karaniwang binabago with regards to ang karaniwang subject ng forgeries usually signature, na yung mga signature ng mga tao. And what is signature, by the way? Ano yung signature? So the signature is defined as one's name written by himself on a document as a sign of acknowledgement. No? So signature is your name written on a document. No? And the reason why you're writing your name is you are acknowledging the content of the document. No? So it's not literally name, because sometimes we create a certain signature that is not totally readable, no? Hindi naman siya nababasa or whatsoever. It's just scribble sometimes, no? But then the reason is that we are affixing our agreement to the content of the document, no? If your signature appear on the document, it means that you had agreed in all the content, no, in all the statements made, no, into that document. So if that's, for example, a contract, no? So if that's a contract, no, at nakalagay doon that this is the condition, this is the benefits that you will receive, no, something like that, and you affix your signature. So whatever the statement written there, it means you agree, no? Kaya nga napakataas ng value ng documents, no? Especially if the signature is affixed, no, in proving, no, some facts inside the court. Kasi if there's a signature, it means that the person who signed the document agreed upon or acknowledges the statements and contents of the document. Kaya nga yun yung pinaka-subject ng forgery. Kasi if signature is there, it means he acknowledges the document. For example, let's say we made a contract, no? I mean, I was not there, but you make it appear that we made a contract, no? Hindi ako nag-agree, pero you make it appear kasi forgery yung pinag-usapan natin. That I would sell a piece of land, a 1 hectare land to you at a price of 50,000 pesos, no? So you made a contract, no? Naggawa ka ng kasunduan, nang nilalaman nito is somewhat like na ako ay binibenta ko yung piece of land ko, 1 hectare of land to you, no? In an for an amount of 50,000 pesos, something like that. So medyo rip off yun, no? Ngayon, of course I will not agree with that, no? But then you made, no, you forge my signature, you copy my signature, nilagay mo yung pangalan ko doon, nilagay mo yung pangalan mo, nag-sign ka sa pangalan mo, then nag-sign ka din sa pangalan ko, pero hindi ako yung nag-sign, no? You copy my signature. Now you are presenting that contract already as an evidence that I agreed, no, of selling 1 hectare of land to you at a price of 50,000 pesos. So that can be a good proof, no? Because it seems or it appears, no, in the document that I acknowledges, that I agreed with the contract, no? Since my signature appears to be there on that document, diba? However, no, since this is a case of forgery, we can dispute that one, no? But at least you can I think nakukuha nyo naman yung point, no, kung gaano kahalaga yung tinatawag nating signature. Kaya nga ang signature yung pinaka-common na kinakopy or fino-forge na handwriting, no, sa ating subject. Okay? Now, going back to the topic on forgery, we have here different kinds of forgery. At least we have 3 to discuss today, no? We have the so-called simple forgery, we have the so-called simulated forgery, we have trace forgery, no? For simple forgery, no, from the word simple itself, no, ito yung pinaka-madaling gawin na uri ng forgery. Paano ba siya ginagawa? Excuse me. So simple forgery is when you try to assume, no, a signature of one person, No, that's not actually a signature. To illustrate this is usually done, halimbawa, you are required to submit something like barangay clearance, no? So, barangay clearance, syempre, sino magsasign dyan? The barangay captain of your barangay. However, let's say you don't have a good behavior, no? Or parang imposible mabigyan ka ng barangay clearance because maybe you have a record on your barangay. So what did you do is that you try to copy the template, no? Kinopya mo yung template ng barangay clearance diyan sa barangay ninyo, and then code mo, nilagay mo yung pangalan ng barangay captain, and then you sign. You assume a signature of that barangay captain. Hindi mo naman kinopya yung signature ni barangay captain. Rather, ang ginawa mo is gumawa ka ng gawa-gawang signature, kunyari, ni barangay captain. No? So that is a type of simple forgery. No? Very simple, but it could go undetected. Pwede siyang hindi ma-detect for the reason that, of course, let's say you would submit that to other provinces. No? Doon ka na mag-a-apply ng trabaho, no, isasubmit mo yun sa isang company, no, located 2 provinces away from your location, something like that. You would not expect that, of course, this person na yung tatanggap ng document ng barangay clearance mo na yan knows the actual signature of the barangay captain in your barangay. No? Hindi naman nila alam yun. So they can assume that the signature is genuine and the document is genuine, for that reason that they don't have sufficient familiarity with regards to the signature of your barangay captain. No? So it's simple, yet it is useful, and it can be hard to detect if you don't have standards. No? If you don't have familiarity with the signature of that person. Di ba yung mga estudyante, yan yung ginagawa nila. No? Pag sinabi ng teacher nila, sige, bukas pumasok ka, mag-submit ka ng excuse letter, pasign mo sa magulang mo. They could just sign that. Pwede naman nilang papirmahan yan sa kaklase nila, sa barkada nila, sa kapitbahay nila, o kung sino man dyan, no? And the teacher would never know if that is actually the signature of the parent of that student, di ba? Simple forgery, yung tawag natin sa mga ganun. Then we have also other type of forgery, yung tinatawag natin simulated forgery. No? We have 2 types of simulated forgery. We have simulated with model signature, no? Or forgery with the use of model signature, and we have the so-called freehand simulation. No? Yung simulated with the model is you are copying, no, an illustration, an outline, an image of a signature. So nandyan halimbawa yung copy ng signature, then you're trying to copy it, no, that is simulation kasi kinokopya mo eh. But then yung pangongopya mo is that you're looking at the outline, you're looking at the strokes of a signature, then you try to copy it. No, then yung tinatawag nating simulated forgery with model signature. No, meron kang pinagkokopyahan. Yung isang uri ng simulated forgery is yung tinatawag nating freehand simulation, which means that you are not looking at a model. No, hindi ka na nakatingin sa illustration, kundi you are already simulating the forgery with familiarity. So, na-practice mo na. Di ba ganun yung usually ginagawa ninyo, no? Natin? If we try to copy a signature of one person, we do it by practicing. No? So, sufficient familiarity, tignan natin yung outline, pre-practice hanggang sa kaya na natin kopyahin yung signature without looking at a model. So yun yung tinatawag nating freehand simulation. No? It is actually considered as the most skillful form of forgery kasi if you have sufficient familiarity with regards to signature, it is already hard to detect those things kasi andun na yung rhythm, no? We would not expect any tremor if you have sufficient familiarity. Parang ginawa mo is parang sayong-sayo talaga yung signature, parang ikaw talaga yung pumirma. Yan yung tinatawag nating freehand simulation, the most skillful forgery, no? Among the different types of forgery. Then we also have the third types of forgery. We have trace forgery, no? Trace forgery has a lot of categories or examples. We have transmitted light, trace forgery with the use of transmitted light, trace forgery with the use of carbon paper, trace forgery with the use of indention or indention process, no, things like that. So yun yung mga pwede natin gawin. From the word itself, trace, no, it means that you're going to trace the signature of one person to be able to copy it, no. So 3D trace mo siya. Yung transmitted light kasi guys, no, transmitted light, if you know what transmitted light is, maliwanag yun na may salamin, no, ilaw na may salamin. So at pag pinailaw mo yun, the light will be transmitted to that glass, no. Ang ginagawa doon is ipapatong nila yung document na may signature, then papatungan nila ng document to kung saan nila ililipat yung signature, then they are going to trace, no, i-trace nila yung signature. Okay, that's with the use of transmitted light. For carbon paper, well, I think everyone knows how to use carbon paper naman, di ba? Carbon paper is that paper, the document where you want to copy, no, kung saan mo ililipat yung signature. Yan, yun yung mauna. Then you put carbon paper in between. Then you put the document with signature na kung saan yun, iti-retrace mo siya. Pag diniinan mo, no, pag trace mo siya, because of the carbon paper in between, no, may itra-transfer yung writing doon sa pinakababang document. So that is with the use of carbon paper. Of course, trace forgery, no, with the use of carbon paper is very obvious naman, no? And I don't think that that some agencies are actually accepting itong tinatawag nating signature made out of a carbon paper, no? So elementary level lang yung mga ganyang uri ng forgery, no? Then we have indention process, no? Same process sa trace forgery, however wala tayong carbon paper, no? Na kung saan is you have the signature, you have the document, i-retrace mo yung signature, didiinan mo siya para yung indention niya, yung bakat niya kumbaga, is mailipat doon sa lower document, then you can trace it, no? Pwede mo na siyang kopyahin ulit, no, with the use of writing instruments. So that is how it is done. But again, no, trace forgery, it's very easy to detect kasi nga there's a lot of tremors. There's even distribution of the ink, no, which are all signs of forgery, no. So madali nating makilala, no, kung ang signature is forged if that is done through trace forgery, no. Madali natin makikilala yan. Okay, so those are the different kinds of forgery, no? Since we are talking about forgery and we made mention of documents kanina, yung mga legal documents or legal instruments, no. In our law, we have actually two types of classification of documents. But for this discussion, we will discuss the four kinds of document. No? So, una is we have the public documents na tinatawag. Public documents are available for public consumption. No? Pwede nating buklatin, pwede nating hingiin, pwede nating busisiin. Yan yung nature ng public documents. No? A public documents is usually signed by a notary public. Notarized. Yung mga notarized document, public document po yan, ano? In court, no, sa korte natin, hindi po tinatanggap na evidence ang isang document unless it is notarized, no? So kailangan notarized lahat. At kapag na-notarize na siya, that is already considered as public document, meaning that anyone can scrutinize, study, can request a copy of that document. No? So yung mga notarized na mga documents na yan ay pwedeng hingiin ng korte, pwedeng buklatin ng kahit sino since it is public. It is considered as public, no? The common criteria that we are looking for public documents is that it must be notarized by a notary public, no? So that is a public document. Then we have private documents, no? Private documents, ito yung mga exclusive lamang sa iyo, no? As the owner. For example, personal letters, no, your diaries and so on, private documents po 'yun, no. Hindi po nila pwedeng buklatin, hindi po nila pwedeng busisiin, hindi po nila pwedeng tignan ang nilalaman ng mga private documents unless there is some warrant that was issued for that matter. If let's say for example that is somewhat is needed for the administration of justice. Now, for example, there's some person na involved into suicide, no? Pero parang masabi natin na merong tao na nagpakamatay, no? And one of the subject of inquiry would be if he has yung daily time log na tinatawag, or sa ating term, yung diary. Baka meron siyang diary. So diary is considered as a private document, so we cannot request that. However, for the purpose of the administration of justice, no, pwede natin i-request na magkaroon tayo ng copy of the diary of that person if that is for legal matters, no. Then, before that happens, now of course, kailangan mo na siyang may transfer as a private or as a public document coming from private to public. Remember that yung mga personal letters, correspondence, and so on are all protected, no, by our constitution. That even not that the court cannot even scrutinize it. Hindi nila pwedeng buklatin unless with a valid reason, and unless there is an order in writing that is requesting such document issued by, of course, a competent authority. No? So that's the nature of a private documents. Yung mga pansarili lang natin. Okay? Official documents, guys, no, ito yung additional classification. Pero ang official documents actually, part na siya ng public documents. No? Ang official documents are documents issued by the agencies of the government. No, for example, clearances, police clearance, court clearance, no, barangay clearance. No, since barangay, police, and municipal clearance, the municipality are all considered as government offices. No, yung mga documents na i-issue ng mga government offices na to will be considered as an official document. No, official document po ang tawag natin dyan. For commercial, ang commercial documents, ito na yung mga resibo natin, yung mga resibo. No, in compliance with the E-Commerce Act, no, of our country. So, yung mga proof of purchase, transactions, and so on, that is under or classified as commercial document, mga resibo. Okay? Now, since our topic is focused on forgeries, no, as we made mention, there are a lot of that our reference is on the revised Penal Code, Book 2, Title 4, that is Article 161 until Article 176. So, yun yung tumatalakay sa forgery, no, doon sa ating batas. However, no, most of the articles are actually focused on forgeries involving legal tenders, no, yung mga currencies, yung mga peso, yung pera, no. But I would like to exclude that for a moment, no. Exclude muna natin yan sa discussion natin, no. So we need to focus on two specific part, which is Article 171 and Article 172, no. So what is Article 172? 171, falsification by a public officer, employee, or a notary, or ecclesiastic minister. So yun yung forgery under Article 171. Ito yung mga guys, yung mga forgery na kung saan ang nagko-commit is yung mga public officer, employee, notary public, or ecclesiastic minister. Halimbawa, no, nagkaroon tayo ng halimbawa, no, ang isang taong kilala mo went to the office of the mayor, and it just so happened na ikaw ay secretary ni mayor. Ikaw yung secretary ni mayor, wala si mayor, at kailangan ng kakilala mo ng mayor's permit or mayor's clearance, something like that, no? Since wala si mayor, ikaw naman yung secretary, so anong ginawa mo? Kakilala mo yung nagre-request. Ang ginawa mo is you printed the document. Let's say, for example, a mayor's permit. You printed a mayor's permit, and without the authority, no, ikaw na ang pumerma, no, ikaw ang pumerma, at ang pinakamasaklap pa is ginaya mo yung signature, kumbaga, ni mayor, no? And you are not authorized to do this. So you are not authorized to do this means it is illegal, no? And since you are the secretary, no, I think you are qualified as an employee of the government, so that will make your crime, no, a violation of Article 171, no? Forgery, no, committed by a public officer, employee, notary public, or ecclesiastic minister. Ganyan din sa simbahan, no? So for example, church clearance, wala si father na siya yung magpipirma, so anong ginawa mo? Kinopya mo yung signature niya, no? And you issued that, no, making it appear that the mayor fa- the highest officer of the church had, issued you a church clearance or whatsoever, no, yan ay consider natin violation of Article 171, no. Article 172, no, ganun din, pero ito is it punishes yung mga private individuals. For example, um, yung unang example natin kanina about me, no, selling 1 hectare of land to you for an amount of 50,000 pesos, parang ganun, no. So kung gawa-gawa mo yan, no, kasi gusto mo yung lupa, no, interesado ka dun sa lupa, kaso ayaw mo namang bilhin, ayaw mong gumastos, so ang ginawa mo, nagpagawa ka ng kontrata, no, pinalagay mo doon na ako ay pumapayag na ibenta yung lupa ng 50,000 pesos, no, and so on. Then you try to copy, no, you try to forge my signature, making it appear that I agreed onto that document, that onto that contract. That would be in violation of Article 172. Now, since you are a private individual and you committed a forgery, you falsified some documents. Okay, so those are the two basic examples or concept of the crime forgeries. No? So yun guys, muna sa ngayon, I hope I was able to impart some knowledge with regards to the topic that we discussed. If you have question with regards to the topic, no, feel free to comment to the comment section, no? And yun guys, no, that's it for today. See you guys on the next lecture. Bye bye.